सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च कोऽपि वादः तयोर्द्वयोर्मूलमजानतां स्यात् विधेः प्रयत्नस्य च मूलवस्तु सञ्जानतां नैव विधिर्न यत्नः यदीशितुर्वीक्षणमीक्षितारम् अवीक्ष्य तन्मानसिके क्षणं स्यात् न द्रष्टुरन्यः परमोहितस्य वीक्षा स्वमूले प्रविलीय निष्ठा आत्मानमीक्षेत परं प्रपश्येत् इत्यागमोक्तेः सुलभो न भावः नात्मैव दृश्यो यदि काकथेशे स्वयं तदन्नीभवनन्तदीक्षा धिये प्रकाशं परमो वितीर्य स्वयं धियोऽन्तः प्रविभाति गुप्तः धियं परावर्त्य धियोऽन्तरेऽत्र संयोजनान्नेश्वरदृष्टिरन्या न वक्ति देहोऽहमिति प्रसुप्तौ न कोऽपि नाभूवमिति प्रवक्ति यत्रोदिते उदेति तस्य धियाहमशोधय जन्मदेशम् देहो न जानाति सतो न जन्म देहप्रमाणोऽन्य उदेति मध्ये अहङ्कृतिग्रन्थिविबन्धसूक्ष्म शरीरचेतो भवजीवनामा रूपोद्भवो रूपततिप्रतिष्ठः रूपाशनो धूतगृहीतरूपः स्वयं विरूपः स्वविचारकाले धावत्यहङ्कारपिशाच एषः रूपोद्भवो रूपततिप्रतिष्ठः रूपाशनो धूतगृहीतरूपः स्वयं विरूपः स्वविचारकाले धावत्यहङ्कारपिशाच एषः रूप उद्भवः रूपेभ्यः उद्भवः Udbhava means origin, because all this time we have been asked to look at the origin of the Atma, the Ahankara, sorry. The origin of the Ahankara we have been urged by Bhagavan Maharshi to look at. Look at the origin. Where is the birthplace of the Ahankara? What is this Ahankara doing, etc., etc.? That is what we have been urged to look at. So, when we look at the origin, and he's helping us out here to show the origin. So, that which is like a pig, what does the pig do? If you go to Rishikesh, I don't know about, yeah, even now, there are a lot of pigs. And then especially Rishikesh after rains, then the rain water will create a little bit of sludge. Okay. And then what does the pig do? Roll in the sludge. In fact, we may think, oh, yuck, disgusting. But then the same person who says, yuck, disgusting, will pay top dollar to go to a spa and get a mud bath. Same thing. Learned from the pig. Okay. Learned from the hippopotamus. Learned from the rhinoceros. Learned from what other prani does this? This one. Water buffalo. All of them, they're experts at mud baths. That's why they have such gleaming, shining skin. And so, even pig also, very smooth, nice skin. But then you look at the pig and you feel kind of disgust. You say, yuck, what is it doing? It's rolling in the sludge. But then if it is wrapped up as a package, spa package, with what are they called? Dead sea salts. It will be table salt, but they'll just call it Dead Sea Salt. And then what else? Some kind of multan, Multani mitti. Multan means some, where is Multan? Afghanistan or somewhere. And so that kind of a subsoil clay from the Middle East, and then salt from the Dead Sea, and then all this, and then people will pay top dollar. Why? Just to look like a pig. No problem at all. To emulate the pig. That is what they'll do. But that is neither here or nor there. So what are we talking about? The pig. Why am I talking about the pig first thing in the first thing in the morning for many people? Because just as the pig rolls in the dirt and then gets up very happy, and then what does it do? It goes around caked in dirt, correct? Similarly, the ahankara is like a pig. I knew it. So the ahankara is like a pig. If I say we should not be insulting pigs, okay? So the ahankara is like a pig in the sense that it revels in the sludge of name and form. Nama Rupa is the sludge. And this pig, Ahankara pig, what does it do? It rolls over and caked in forms and names, caked in the clay of names and forms. It says, oh, this is some special Egyptian clay. I have just had a makeover and I'm just here and I'm all wonderful. This is what it is. So it revels in the Rupa. It revels in the Nama. It rolls around in Nama Rupa. Even if you give it the throne. In Kashmir, they have a 9-step throne made of stone throne. And so they have this 9-step throne, okay? And that is called Jnana Pitha. And Adi Shankara was asked to, Adi Shankara was not asked, but people were asked to ascend whoever dares. And of course, in those days, there was much more integrity than now. So they were asked to ascend the stairs if they knew, let's say, if they knew yoga, one step. Then if they knew pranayama, dharana, samadhi, like this, another step. Then if they knew Vedanta, one more step. Then if they knew all the Purva Pakshas, one more step. Then if they knew all the first portion of the Vedas, like this, Vedanta was at the top. So if they knew the first portion of the Veda, one more step. So the 9th step was just if they are, if they know that they know. Meaning if they know that they have no self-ignorance and total self-knowledge, they can ascend the step. So then, Adi Shankara was the only one who was able to ascend the step and sit there. Of course, nobody questioned that because he was obviously very deserving of it. And so, like this, the ego is keeping on accumulating one thing after another. One title here, that is also a name. Title is name, or some kind of a form. So name and form and name and form and name and form, it keeps on accumulating and wants to get better and better and better and better. Wants adulation. That is what it is. Rupodbhavaha. So wherever there is the sludge of Nama Rupa, you will find egos, lolling in them. And so this is what it does. And then what? Then Rupa Tati Pratishtha. Pratishtha, Rupa Tatibhyam Pratishtha or Rupa Tatibhihi Pratishtha Yasya. Saha. So what is Rupa? Rupa is form. Tati means group. Yeah, a group of forms is called Rupa Tati. So the one who has forms because of these various rupas is called Rupatati Pratishtha. This ego likes to surround itself with people who are yes men and yes women. Yes men means what? Whatever they say, whatever they say yes, 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 yes. Ego says yes, no, no, no. Ego wants other people to agree. Ahankara doesn't say yes, yes, yes. Ahankara wants other people to agree with it. Yes, yes, yes. You are the best, east or west. You are the greatest, come what may. Oh, look at you covered in the sludge of Nama Rupa. I like this very much. So the Ahankara wants sycophants. Sycophants means people who are giving it the adulation that it craves. It wants some yes-sayers. Yes, 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 give me this, give me this, give me this, give me that. Be here and agree with me. Whatever I say, you have to say yes. That's why politicians always have a cadre of people who will say yes, because the ahankara needs it. Otherwise, it's very lonely to be a politician. So you always need a group of people who agree with you no matter what. And even if it's a bad idea, even if lots of people are going to be affected, yes, 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 you can do this. And so, Rupodbhavaha, number one, Rupatati Pratishtha. Rupa, Tatibhihi Pratishtha Yasya, that which is in the form of the group of Rupas. A host of Rupa includes Nama here. So if you look at people's letterheads, nowadays nobody has letterheads, okay? Yeah, they only have heads. They don't have, because nobody writes letters. So there are no letterheads, only heads. Head symbolizes ego, full of all kinds of Ravana-esque. Ravana had 10 heads, okay? All ahankara. And so, Rupa Tati Pratishtha means that it's just one example. If you look in the, 30 years back, people had letterheads. And the letterheads, they would have their name. And after the name, all the letters of the alphabet. They're all various degrees. This thing, that thing, And sometimes they haven't even finished the degree. And they would say, Doctor so and so. And then in brackets, PhD candidate. Candidate means not a PhD yet. Okay. Yeah. And so PhD candidate. And then they will sometimes even make it murkier. ABD. Then you think, what kind of a degree is this ABD? ABD? What kind of a degree is? They have finished all but dissertation. The dissertation is the main thing. They will write so and so ABD. And you think, oh, this must be some kind of a new degree I've never heard of. And then it is so disappointing because ABD means they have finished the coursework, they have taken their comprehensive exams or whatever is required by the university, but then they have not written their dissertation. They have don't even have a title of their dissertation yet, but they are still known as ABD. And but the D is the most important in the PhD, D for dissertation, okay? But then that is not that is not done. So this is the ahankara. It tries to make itself, it tries to make itself transformed by leaning on the rupas, by being a rupa harvester, a rupa farmer, How do you be a rupa farmer? Because you milk the rupas to give you whatever it can. So milking the nama and rupa, the and the ahankara takes the milk of the nama rupas, and having had the milk of the nama rupas, what does it do? Gets fat, a nice fat ahankara. Why does it need to get fat? Because if somebody biffs it, it shouldn't feel hurt. So it keeps a nice packing around it. Nice, packing so that there is some, what is that called? Space. So that it can show off. It's like a peacock, vain, and shows off. Look at me, how I can dance. Look how wonderful. Look at my feathers. You don't have this. See, it's not enough to say I have this. Then you should also say you don't have this. Only I have this. Then you feel a little happier for a longer, period of time. This is the sad reality of most people. So Rupodbhavaha, being born in the sludge of name and form, and then applying all the sludge of name and form for recognition, validation, Rupatati Pratishtha. Rupatati Pratishtha Ahankara. These are all qualifications for the word Ahankara. Rupatati Pratishtha. Then, Rupatati Pratishtha, another example is where, you lean on people. There are, it's one thing to have sycophants, but here, these are people from your family, from your community. And then, they keep on telling you something. And then you keep on repeating that to yourself in order so that it will become more and more real. That is the idea. Rupatati Pratishtha. So you gather degrees, and then you gather all kinds of what is that? Accolades, trophies, medals, and then after gathering all the medals, then you need a display case to put to put all the medals in. And then after a while, you don't even know which medal was for what. You have forgotten. Why? Because now you are 50. So you have forgotten. You don't even remember. But then those medals are there. Somehow gathering tarnish. Tarnish means it gets all, because of the weather, it gets all funny looking. And then the sheen and the shine is gone. So all your glory is just reduced to some tarnished metal. From medal, it becomes metal by a strange sandhi, I suppose. So when does the medal become a metal? When you're able to see it objectively for what it is. It is just a piece of metal gathering dust, gathering tarnish. And even if you may put some shine and varnish on the tarnish, it is still not going to be anything other than a piece of metal. And then this is what Rupatati Pratishtha. This is the group of forms. And then all these achievements have to be put in the form. And then this is a new thing. Everybody wants to write autobiography. Everybody I know wants to write autobiography. And then, how will you write it? Oh, I will write a blog. So everybody has a blog. And that is again, and the blog again, is a place to make the ahankara, to put the ahankara in the cradle and rock it back and forth. Hush, Shabai, hush. That is what you're doing. You're singing a lullaby to the Ahankara, because whenever it cries, it's like a baby. It cries and you rock it. And how do you rock it? By writing something about it. Oh, I did this today and I did that today. Nobody is better than me. I am Indra and Chandra, meaning all the celestials I am. And the Deva I am, everything I am. This is, what is that? A divergent path from the world of Ishvara. I mean, what a sad, sad, sad travesty it is that one is Ishvara. And and then one doesn't feel like one is Ishvara. One doesn't experience or understand even that reality. And because one doesn't understand that reality, what does one do? One tries to become Ishvara-esque in the only way they know how. And how is that? Roll in the mud of some, some name and form delights. That's what it is. Roll in the mud of, some local, what is that, accolades, some small achievements, and then also gather certain things which are yours, your claim to fame. When I once went to somebody's house for bhiksha, and then what happened there? They said, "Oh, we have been collecting these very expensive, I don't know what they were, dolls. Dolls, yeah, some kind of dolls." And they said, "Would you like to hold one?" I said, "No, no. I don't want to, you know, because sometimes, we have what is called butter fingers. You can touch something and it can go. But each doll was very costly, some kind of made of some, what is that called? Porcelain or something. China, some kind of special China doll. And all, very nice, but nice looking. But, it was just a doll. It was just a porcelain doll. And then they had all these things. And then they said, this is how much it's going to cost. It's costing now. Each one was only $2,000. And then after that, it would appreciate. And then it would appreciate. So then I asked, is this a way for you to make money? Because that made sense to me. Okay, we're going to buy this. Instead of keeping the money in the bank, I could at least wrap my mind around it. Okay, instead of keeping the money in the bank, these people went and bought some dolls that are going to appreciate. Then they're going to sell them, and then they'll have a college fund for their child. That made sense to me. They said, no, 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 we are never going to sell them. See what for you have them, so that other people see we have them. Rupatati pratishtha. This is the life of the life of this is the ahankara life. Welcome to the ahankara life. And so then what? This is, we are getting to know the ahankara. We are saying hello to it so that we can then slice it and dice it and do this. And understand that it is the monster, it is the dragon that's coming in the way of the cave, which has Ishvara in it, Guha Nihitam. So that cave of the heart is the one that is here, and there is a dragon guarding the mouth of the cave, and this is the Ahankara. That is why we are getting to know it up close and center, so that we can shoo the dragon away. We can, just make the dragon disappear. And then we can, understand this properly. So, what a sad travesty. One is Ishvara, but not understanding that one wants to play Ishvara. Just like children play, what is that play? That is house. They play that, they are adults, and then they have a house, and they have children, and then they have little, small pots and pans and teacups and saucers and everything. So they play house, just like little children play house. And the adults watching them think, oh, so sad. They don't know that this is their future. Why can't they just be carefree? Why are they all, going to office, pretending, of course, pretending to go to office, cooking, cleaning, and taking care of pretend children? Oh, don't they know that this is what is going to await them? So just like that here, this is like a pretend life. One is already Ishvara, but here one throws. This is one's own vikshepa, one's own, what is that, casting of a parallel reality. a subjective reality to ward off the incessant non acceptance, fear, pain, sorrow. To ward that off, one gathers, one gathers all these things. What are you doing? I'm playing Ishvara. I'm playing that I'm Ishvara. In this pretend game of Ishvara, really, the fact that one is Ishvara is lost. The pretense becomes greater than the reality. Like some of these, there are these very dangerous, what is that called? Internet games. One of them is called Second Life. I may be making up the name, but it's something like that, Second Life or something like that. And then there you take on one avatar, and then you get married to another avatar. You will be married to somebody else in your empirical life. But then you go in this internet game, you marry that other person and you have another child and all these things, and you can you can specify what your child is going to be like. You can create your child according to your wishes, not the Ishvara given child. And then, and then you can do this. And so this couple, young couple, had a small baby, 6-month-old baby. And then they started to play this game, forgot to feed the baby. It almost got dehydrated. And thankfully, one of the mothers, either his mother or her mother, happened to drop in. And the baby had to be rushed to the hospital, put on saline drip. And, it barely survived, thank God. But it survived, barely. What were the parents doing? They had conjured a child, another child, on this internet. And then what were they doing? Taking care of that child, because they had some kind of a problem child. It had some lots of problems and everything. It needed a lot of attention and time, and then some kind of a contest. Time was running out. They had to get something immediately for it. And in being so busy in that, they just completely forgot about their young baby. The real baby here is being neglected for the virtual baby there. And then, thank God, one of the mothers came, and then they had to hospitalize the child immediately. And the doctor said, had it been in a few more minutes late, they would have been a different story altogether. So this is how the ahankara, it takes care of itself in a parallel universe, while neglecting its real destiny, while neglecting its natural swarupa, while neglecting to understand its own truth. And the more it indulges in this virtual reality of covering itself in the mud bath of the whatever it is, names and forms, the more it does that, the greater the distance between oneself and Ishvara. This is what happens. Sadly, the greater already there are what is that? At least if it was parallel realities, you can see what is going on, but it is divergent realities. It's just going this way. And then one more epithet it has gained because of its shenanigans. Rupa Shanaha. Rupa Shanaha. Rupashanaha means the one for whom Rupa and Nama are food. What does the Ahankara survive on? It has its own food pyramid. Lots of accolades. And then some people to surround it. Some objects that look familiar. Collections of all kinds, hoarding titles, hoarding achievements, and still feeling like a beggar. I don't have anything, I don't know anything, I want this, I want that. And this is what it is, Rupashana. It eats incessantly. Because if you start praising a person, if you tell, this is what happens. See, supposing, a married couple, one of them goes away somewhere and then comes back. Did you miss me? The other one says yes. But that's not enough. This one will ask, how much? How are you going to say how much you missed? How much you missed? You have to tell me now. And of course, however much you say, I missed you this much, if you say, as far as the hands can go, that will that be enough? Oh, only so much. Rupa Shanaha. Rupa Shanaha. And Ashanaha means the victuals. It feeds on the victuals of praise. The Ahankara is a little narcissistic being, a little narco for short. And this narco wants to be surrounded by praise. It's very uncomfortable with even the slightest look of criticism, the slightest, even if somebody says, perhaps you should try doing it this way. Oh, I'm upset. Why did you say this? How could you say this? How much I try? And what are you going to do to me? Why are you doing this? One is a permanent teenager. This is because of the being in the grip of this ahankar. Either one is all but is self-righteous. If one is not self-righteous, then what is one? One is all very, oh, woe is me. I can't do anything right. I'm not excelling in anything. I'm an idiot. I have no, I'm not smart. I'm not clever. I'm wrong all the time. My middle name is wrong and I was born this way. This is the other side of the continuum. Rupa Shanaha. Then one more very clever compound. Dhuta Grihita Rupaha. Dhuta means discarded. Grihita, grasped. Discard and grasp. Discard and grasp. Discard and grasp. So it is, one example. What does that mean? How does one discard a form and then grasp a form? Easy. You just look at the lives of politicians and celebrities. In fact, let's bring both of them into this example. So there is one famous celebrity that, gives money to the politicians, let's say, for their, what are they called? Campaigns. For their campaigns. So some famous celebrity. And then what happens? The celebrity gets caught in some kind of a terrible, scandalous situations. This is not unheard of. And these days one is becoming more and more thick-skinned to scandals. Nothing scandalizes anymore. So the celebrity gets caught in some kind of a racket. Let's say maybe it's insider trading or some kind of a, affair with somebody or something like that. And so the politician, which was always calling the celebrity for every rally and saying what? Oh, you must do the opening one. Because, the politicians, you see, the people are not coming to see the politician. The people are coming to see the opening act, the celebrity, and then staying to see for the politicians because it is just there. Because they're already there. So the celebrity was the opening act for this politician and would always just do this. And there were lots of photos of them together and everything. And then the celebrity got caught. And what does the politician do now? Distance himself or herself from the celebrity. No, just an acquaintance. In fact, I never wanted him to come to my rallies. He forced himself. That's why he was there. In fact, he wanted to come to more rallies. I said, no, just an acquaintance. I barely know him. First, they will try to get away by saying, I don't know him at all. I don't know him at all. That is this, this has happened from what is that, from Jesus's time. So as soon as this one was, Jesus was indicted, I don't know what other word to use, by the group of lawmakers in that time, people immediately distanced. No, I don't know him. Who is this? I don't know him. So similarly, this is what it is. Dhuta grihita rupaha. Dhuta means the one who keeps discarding forms and taking on new forms all the time. Taking on new forms all the time. And this is another iteration of this. This one is fun. Generally, people want to look young when all the time. Okay, they want to look younger and younger and younger and younger, even when they are not. So if you are young and you want to look young, no harm in that. That is yathatmya. That is exactly how it is. But if you are not young and you want to look young, then okay, it's your prerogative. Go for it. Do whatever it takes. But then the same person who wants to be appreciated for looking young, correct? And for feeling young, and then they have these new statements. What is that? The 40 is the new 30. It is not. You ask any doctor, they will say no. But then this is how it is. 50 then becomes the new 40. Like this. Okay, you can tell that to yourself. That's fine. That's your own business. You can do that. But then the same person, who is this person? For whom 60 is the new 50. Okay. Yeah. So this person gets very upset when somebody doesn't give up a seat on the bus, on the train, in the room. Oh, no respect for age. And they are not even getting up. For my sake, they should have got up. Don't they see that I am coming? Well, they don't know you are 60. Why? Because you're trying to look like you're 40. And so they will treat you like you're 40. If you want to be treated like 60, don't confuse them. Look like you are 60, they will treat you like 60, no problem. So this is what it is. Dhuta grihita rupa. So you take on certain identities when it is expedient. And then immediately when you want a seat on the bus or the train, oh, don't you see how old I am? I'm frail and fragile. I can't stand. I can't stand, and I can't stand you, that you are not really giving me any kind of respect. How can you do this to me? This is what it is. The ahankara is a fair weather friend. It takes on and then it discards at will. No loyalty, even to the forms that it has, even to the forms that have made it survive and given it a lot of love, etc. No loyalty at all. It just discards the forms, takes on the forms. Rupa Shanaha, and then Rupa Dhuta Grihita Rupaha. Okay, we have had so much talk on Rupa, 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 Nama, Nama, Nama. What is its own Rupa? Swayam Virupaha. No form. Ahankara is it's extremely. It's like jelly. Does jelly have a form? No. You put it in a mold, it has a form. It takes on the form of that particular mold in which you put it in. So the ahankara also takes on the form of all the forms with which it identifies all the time. Young, old, middle-aged, famous, infamous. Sometimes people cannot become famous. So they do something to make them infamous. And then they have a strange, a dubious satisfaction. At least I'm infamous. At least I am doing, at least I'm doing terrible things and people are writing about me. And so, therefore, what? Swayam Virupaha. It doesn't have a form. That's why it is so wily. That is why it is so difficult to grasp. That is why it is so difficult to understand. It is like a chameleon which doesn't have a color of its own. When it is on a leaf which has spots, it also develops spots. When it is on a leaf that, like a banana leaf that has ribs, ridges, then it also develops ridges to hide, to not be found out. And then when it is on a brown tree, it also develops scales in the form and the color and the texture of the tree bark. It is an eternal chameleon. It doesn't know. It doesn't have a form and a name of its own. It molds itself to various names and forms and hides from you the buddhi. What is the buddhi? We saw yesterday and day before that it is the objective part of this ahankara. The objective component of this ahankara is called buddhi. And so this buddhi, it evades the buddhi. Just like the new variants of the coronavirus are evading the vaccines. And so like this, it evades the buddhi. And then what happens? Then you try to do an inquiry into it. Swavichara kale, swasya vichara kale, when you do an inquiry into it, at that time, kale, what does it do? Dhavati ahankaraha. It runs away. Swavicharakale dhavati ahankaraha. So this ahankara runs away. Oh, but if it's running away, can't I catch it? No. Pishachaha eva. Pishacha means what? Pishachi. Pishachi means ghost. Itself is a disembodied, miserable little entity. Like that small fellow, in the children's story, The Wizard of Oz. And then there was this big noise and big voice, and behind the curtain was this small fellow trying to be big and trying to control everything. So, Swavicharakale, at the time of its enquiry, Dhavati pushes off from there, disappears, runs away. How? Like even a ghost without leaving anything. It is a ghost. It is a ghost. In fact, it possesses you. It is a ghost. And it's a fantastic word used by Maharshi here. He's calling it a ghost because it possesses you. That's why it's a ghost. You are possessed by the ahankara. This is exactly why it is a ghost. And it is also a ghost because you don't see it coming, you don't see it going. Still, it is there in the vicinity, exercising an influence on you. And then as soon as you say, as soon as you start looking for it, it just runs away. Gone. Not at all there. Has done its mischief and then runs away. And then so this is pishachaha. So this is why it is so complex. This is why it is so difficult to catch. This is why it is so difficult to identify. Because it's mixed up in anatma. It's mixed up in namarupa all the time. Dhavati ahankarah pishachaha eshaha. Eshaha pishachaha. This is indeed a ghost, a disembodied being of sorts, whose beingness is contingent upon slathering itself in the mud, rolling in the mud of names and forms, and then shoring up all kinds of accolades and people, situations, etc., to make it look good. It thrives on the validation all the time and gets fat. But at the same time, it is not anywhere to speak of. It is mithya. Mithya means it's a dependent reality because, as we have seen, it depends all on the name and form, name and form, name and form, name and form, name and form. And so, dhavati, like a ghost, it pushes off from there. And when we were small, there was a book called Chanda Mama, children's book. And there would be all these stories. And there would be a general story of a king whose job it was. His name was Vikramaditya, a made up king. And so this Vikramaditya's job was to locate one, to catch one pishacha, to catch one ghost, which would be sitting on the tree. And then the ghost would say, oh, we have to, and then he had to go and deliver the ghost wherever it needed to be, so it wouldn't trouble the people. And the ghost was very chatty, and the ghost would tell a story. Okay, Your Majesty, to pass the time, let me tell you a story. And then the king would be very enthralled by this story. And at the end of the story, it would ask a question. And the king was intelligent. It would ask a stupid question. So, who did this and why did they do this? And if you know the answer, and if you don't tell the answer, your head will roll off or break into 1,000 pieces. It would curse the king. So the king would sadly tell the answer. Sadly, why? Because you're not supposed to talk when transporting this ghost. So he would silently hear the story, but then the ghost would make him talk at the end, and then he would say, "Okay, this character in the story did this because of this," and then what would happen? The ghost would just slip and go back to the tree. All the effort was in vain. So here too, a wrong look, a wrong kind of a pursuit into the ahankara, and all the effort is in vain, totally in vain. And so, therefore, what? Therefore, we have to do the correct effort and the correct kind of enquiry. That is the idea. So that will take us to the next verse. And what does the next verse say? The next verse is more of the same. It is going to talk about the ahankara and what it does and how to gain victory over the ahankara. Then will be, in the upcoming verses, in the consecutive verses, it will come. भावेऽहमः सर्वमिदं विभाति लयेऽहमस्नैव विभाति किञ्चित् तस्मादहं रूपमिदं समस्तं तन्मार्गणं सर्वजयाय मार्गः भावेऽहमः सर्वमिदं विभाति लयेऽहमो नैव विभाति किञ्चित् तस्मादहं रूपमिदं समस्तं तन्मार्गणं सर्वजयाय मार्गः. Bhave means in the presence of what? Ahamaha. Sixth case of aham. Sixth case of aham is mama. And but here it's a slightly different, as I told you in the beginning, it is a kind of a objectifying the word aham itself and declining aham, the word aham for ahankara, as though it is a makara ending noun. Like Marut, Marutah, sixth case. So Ahamaha. Bhave Ahamaha. When in the presence of the Ahankara, what happens? Sarvamidam Vibhati. Everything else shines. All possibilities shine. Name shines, fame shines, accolade shines. What is mine shines. What is yours also shines with a little bit of regret. Why is it not mine? Like that it shines. And then everything shines. Bhave ahamaha sarvamidam vibhati. Laye ahamaha. When the aham, the ahankara, finally gets tired. Of course, it will get tired of rolling in the mud of names and forms. Think of all the things it does every day. It wants to collect so much fame, name. It wants to do so much all the time. So laye ahamaha. When the aham goes to sleep, ahankara goes to sleep, it knows nothing shines, it's not aware of anything at all. Bhave ahamaha sarvamidam vibhati laye ahamaha naiva vibhati kinchit. Na eva vibhati kinchit. Nothing is there. When the ahankara goes to sleep, there is only tranquility, nothing else. And then what? Tasmad aham rupam idam samastam. So this is a very drastic proposition. Up till now it was very easy, both Sanskrit wise and meaning wise. Now we are going to take a dive, okay? And so Tasmat, and it's a Vedantin's therefore. It's not a logician's therefore. So Tasmat, therefore, aham rupam idam samastam. So this whole jagat is what? Just a broadcasting of the ahankara. The Jagat is nothing but a broadcasting of this ahankara. Because why? This is where I said it needs some explanation. Because what is this Jagat other than the fact that it is my own vision? It is something that I look at with a vision of division. So many divisions. Mine, not yet mine. Bad, good. Yesterday, today. Or yesterday, tomorrow. Past, future. And then what else? So many other categories. So many categories are like that. Friend, enemy. Like this. And those categories, if we look at carefully, they are all dyads, oppositional categories. Either you are my friend. No, I'm not your friend. Okay, you are my enemy then. It's a black and white thinking fellow. Friend or enemy. And this or that. Good or bad. Dharma, adharma. And then it's very self-righteous. Oh, how can they do this? I can look at what are you doing here? No. I'm different. I don't do that. These people are doing this all the time. This is how it justifies itself. And so in this whole thing, this is how the Jagat is perceived. The Jagat is perceived through the filters of the Raga Dvesha. And the Raga Dvesha are the, what should I say, rice and dal of Ahankara. That's why Raga starts with R and Dvesha starts with D. Rice and dal of Ahankara, the staple diet. Staple diet of Ahankara is Raga Dvesha. What is Raga Dvesha? Raga, strong preferences. Dvesha, strong prejudices. This is what it is. So the whole world is viewed through the filter of the strong preferences and prejudices. Where is the objectivity? Nowhere. The world is filtered in through the Ahankara, and so therefore, what the whole world is nothing but a projection of the Ahankara. This person is out to get me. This person is bad. This person should have been better. And I need to tell off this person. I need to scold this person. I need to do this. I need to do that. All nonsensical. And so therefore, idam samastam. Idam means jagat. This whole jagat, starting with one's own body, mind, sense complex. This whole jagat is turned into a critical beast. Poor Jagat. This Bhagavan given Jagat is turned into a monstrous entity thanks to the Ahankara's machinations. Monstrous entity. And then what? Look, that's where you need to look. You need to look exactly in the place where the judgment is. You need to look exactly there where that pain is, where that pressure to make those judgments are. That is where you need to look. And then tan marganam. Marganam means looking here. And it's a little bit of a pun also. Marganam sounds like marjanam. Marjanam means sweeping away. So looking / sweeping away. This series of categories or dyads, that is the road to redemption from the vice clutches, the vice grip of Ahankara. This is what it is. Sarvajayaya margaha. I am on the path, I can say I'm on the path to victory. When I'm on the path to victory, as soon as I recognize that I call the shots on this Ahankara as soon as I recognize that this is the one spinning me back and forth. I am in the spell of its judgment. When I recognize, then this Ahankara does not have a say over me at all. Very nice, wonderful verse. So, bhave ahamaha sarvamidam vibhati. So that vyabhichara itself. So what happens to the Jagat when you sleep, when the Ahankara sleeps? It may as well not be there. Is there a Jagat for the sleeping person? No, There is no Jagat for the sleeping person. And so, therefore, what? That Jagat is an internal projection. And so, this parallel reality is based on an internal projection. Nobody sees the world as it is. Everybody sees the world as I want it to be. The two are very different, extremely different. We'll close with a short meditation and then say the closing prayer afterwards. So, however you are, you can just close the eyes. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to achieve, nothing to let go of, nothing to gather. Nobody to be answerable to right now. All there is the holy Om. Om. The lips form the word Om. The mind resonates with Om, the cause of the universe. Om. Satchidananda Atma. Om. What about all the things that I relate to? Namaha. I salute. My salutations. My namaskars. Namaha. Namaha. All there is Om. All there is Namaha. The mantra for today's meditation, therefore, is Om Namaha. Just listen to the chants as I chant. Om Namaha. 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 Om. Repeat the chant silently. Let the chant drop. Chanter, consciousness, awareness. Chant, nothing but awareness. Space between the chants, awareness, consciousness. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti
Shanti,
Shanti
Shanti, Shanti.
Harihi
Hari
Om Shri
Om Shri
Guru
Gurubhyo Namaha.
Harihi Om.
Hari Om.
When you're ready, you can open your eyes.